regression model, correlation. Okay. So first of all, this is the sixth day, and so far we had lots of mm, uh, we have number of discussion about the test and then variable and etc etc. Today we are going to uh, discuss about the linear regression model and correlation logistic regression model. First of all, I would like to clear where to apply linear and non-linear regression model and where when to apply ordinal model. Okay, so when we discuss about the regression, so generally what we do, we apply everywhere regression, whether it is nominal scaling, ordinal scaling, or ratio scaling, or interval scaling, or continuous scaling, discrete scaling. So in short, what I wanted to tell you, the regression technique will be applicable in different way on the basis of the variable category, ratio and interval or continuous scaling. We can apply the linear regression model. Otherwise, we can apply the ordinal, that is also known as a logistic model. Okay. So here we will discuss about the first of all correlation and regression, types of correlation and regression. Okay. So first of all, let's start with the correlation. Okay. Correlation is the relationship, association between two variables. Okay, like if I talk about here, today I have lots of data in my here in document. I have saved one correlation data. I think I must have this correlation data. I have this, and in this data view I have. Okay. This is kind of a data where I have taken four variable, consider four variable, and the first of all, let's start with a case, what it is actually, and then we will then discuss about the correlation, and then we will then calculate. Here we have data of arrival time of any kind of, this is a kind of a car wash company, and in that they report some kind of arrival time of the car, then their washing start, and then washing end, then the busy time of the machinery which is engaged in washing car. These are the four variable they consider to know whether they four are interrelated or not, whether if I want to increase the car washing duration, then whether it will impact on a busy time. Busy time, it means they are not idle for the whole day. It means they should be efficiently involved in the business. Okay, so in this way we are considering the arrival time and wash start and wash end and busy time. So if I want to consider the association, want to take out the relationship between the variables, as so first for that purpose we need to first check out what kind of tool and techniques we can implement here. Okay, so in correlation we need to proceed with the assumption. What are the assumption, what are the measures, and how to follow that. Okay, so first, is correlation is the relationship everybody knows as name, such as that this is a relationship between two variable or two or more than variable. If we talk about only two variables, suppose I'm talking about the arrival time and wash start, is the car service company is engaged in a services as their as according to their arrival time, or they are deciding randomly to wash the car of the customer. Okay, this is my thing what I want to find out, or as a owner of that company I want to know the system of car wash company and then garage is going well or not. Just I wanted to know that thing. Okay, so that purpose I want to know what it is, what like for that I just want to hire some kind of analyst and then just want to know these factors. So as an analyst I should know where to apply correlation. First of all, I should check the variable nature. Here all variables are, we will move to the variable view. Here, these are the numeric time. Okay. If arrival time is in a numeric time, wash start time is in a numeric time, wash end time is in numeric time, visit time is in a numeric time. Here, we are not going to give any kind of values to these variable as they are quantitative in nature and they don't need any kind of coding or any value. Here measure, they are measured on a scale. Scale, it means ratio scale or interval is scaling. So now I'm done with the first assumption of the correlation that they all are kind of, in a, we should say they are in a numerical ratio scaling. Second, we need to decide whether we are going to apply bivariate relationship or partial. In partial, we need to, fix one and then we can take out the relationship others. But in general, in SPSS, we consider this only direct method, that is a Karl Pearson method. Okay, correlation, for measuring correlation, we have Karl Pearson method, R factor. Okay, and there is a one another method is that is measured by the scatter diagram. That is a graphical method. Simply just put these two variable in the graph section, but mostly as a statistical method. That is a graphical method, but as we are dealing with the statistical method, here we are studying the statistics, because this is the limitation of graph, that we cannot suggest the relationship type and nature characteristics in a very clear and significant way. Therefore, we need the correlation. Here, we need to check out where is the correlation. Here, it is bivariate and partial. Okay, and distances. Okay, so here we are not going to keep one variable as a fix and then calculating the another one. Just I'm taking the bivariate. Okay, bivariate, basically here it is a Pearson, Spearman and Kinderland. Okay, so my concept was arrival time and wash start. Okay, they are interrelated or not. Option, means and standard deviation, if you want a descriptive statistic or not. Otherwise, you can do this. Continuous. Okay. Here, I'm going to share the output window. This is the bivariate relationship. Karl Pearson. Karl Pearson, here we will have 2 or 3 factors. The detail of this correlation table is important. Here, arrival time Pearson test is 0.996 and significant is 0.000, and observation number of data is 53 observation. We have 53 data, 53 observation in that workshop, car workshop. Okay, it means we have data of like a 1 day, 2 day, 3 days, kind of that. We are not just discussing that it is just kind of only 1 or 2 car wash data, but we have 53 of wash start in a Pearson. It is again having 0.996 and then it is having significant as 0.00 and n is 53. Now we need to interpret this. This is the significance level at 0.01. 1% level, 99% level it was examined. Okay, the confidence level of testing this correlation shape between these two variable was 99% and 1% was the significance level or error level. Here p-value, as per we can see the value of R 0.996, it is depicting the high relationship between these two variables. High relationship, very high. The interpretation of R, you can say, just I'm stopping this, or I can use the board. R is categorized and like less than 0.5. Less than 0.5 is generally considered no relationship or very low relationship if R is lying below this. But if R is 0.5 or 0.6 in between that, then we can say our two variable are moderately interrelated, very moderately. Okay, but if R is above, then you can say 0.69. But if R is greater than 0.7, we suggest high relationship. But if R is greater than 0.9, then we say they are very high relationship. It means very high relationship, as in our example, it was 0.996. Okay, if this is the value, then if R is equal to 1, in the rare cases you can get this value, then we can say they are perfectly correlated with each other. This is the interpretation of the R value. Okay, so as here I'm again sharing the output window of correlation, and we can conclude with the help of this 0.00. So in your report, how to interpret this? Like you can see this, yes, there is a relationship, and but in a statistical report you need to mention the statistical language. So following that, you need to just work on hypothesis. Hypothesis will be there is no relationship. Just remember, in case when we are examining the relationship between the variable, we state our null hypothesis in negative way, like between the arrival time of car and the service started with that car. So alternative will be there is a significant relationship between the arrival time and washing that car timing. Okay, so here p value is 0.000, and by comparing this p value with 0.01, we will conclude that we will reject our null hypothesis. After rejecting our null hypothesis, we will accept null hypothesis. Okay, we will accept our null hypothesis. That means there is a relationship between the arrival time and car washing time. This is the one interpretation. In case if this is not 0.00 and this relationship is there, then how you will explain the relationship? You have to mention the reason behind the insignificance result. You can write due to less samples significant result, or where you were collecting when you were collecting samples, the pandemic was there, so people, the good target, you couldn't select. You selected convenient sampling, that's why the reason and you got this insignificant result. This was about the correlation. Okay, this was the bivariate, though it is very less when you do this bivariate. In the real life, means not real life, means when you are doing the research, you have lots of what should I say, you have lots of variable like these. Okay, arrival time, wash and visit time. Then what to do in that case? Okay, correlation. Okay, I'm doing this in a partial 1 minute. In this only, I'm going to conduct the partial relationship. Here you will do the, it is in a partial relationship when you are having a two or more than two variables simultaneously you are going to checking for. Okay, so wash end time is a, or visit time is a controlling variable for. Then what will be the relationship between these two option? Okay, it's your wish that whether you want to do that or not. Continue and then okay. In this again, relationship was same. Okay, but degree of freedom was 50 and significant level, again this was a significant. So it is known as the partial relationship. The difference between these two, that here we considered visit time as a controlling variable. And here we were not having any controlling variable. So we are not getting any kind of differences. That's why people generally use correlation and bivariate and shift each and every variable in this and get this kind of result. See, arrival time is related to the washing start time 0.996. Washing end time is also 0.996. Here, the thing is, arrival time is negatively related but not significant. So, we cannot say that arrival time and visit time is having any kind of relationship. Because there are two reasons in that. One is because of the significance level. It is analyzed on 1%. First of all, so this p-value will be examined and compared with 0.01 first thing, and here 0.391 is a it is more greater than this 0.01. So we will say this result -120 is not reliable. You cannot rely the relationship between arrival time or visit time, or you cannot say if there are lots of uh, car arriving in your workshop station, then you are busy. Okay, so you cannot say your busy time is directly associated with the arrival time of the car. And as this busy time is the always having a negative relationship with all these three variable: arrival timing, and car washing timing, and when the service timing is getting end. Okay, but they don't have any kind of significant proof. Maybe there may be kind of like a visit time is not collected on the reliable sources, or they are not serious about depicting the information about this. There can be a reason. Researchers are supposed to express this in their report. Generally it is a matter of fact, like external mostly you raise question on these kind of variable, because if you are this is the practical thing. Mostly researcher, what they do, they just change the values of these things. Oh my god, they're not significant. Then what they do, then instead of 391, means what I am talking about, it is kind of most of the researcher do that. Ma'am, if we do that, then nobody can catch this point. So but mostly when you do that, then you have to also pay, in a later one, when you do the descriptive statistics in standard error, you will get the higher standard error. If that standard error is too high and your significant level is too low, then automatically a knowledgeable person will catch you that you have manipulated the value. So instead of manipulating this value, you have to explain why you get this value. This is better option, I think so. So researchers should keep in their mind why this can be is in insignificant way. So this is my most concern in this correlation. I told you this is the Karl Pearson correlation. Okay, it's the Karl Pearson correlation. Okay. So we have three kind of correlation: partial correlation, and correlation in a with the multiple things. Okay, in Karl Pearson bivariate, we just put these two values and just got the result, and that was successful. Told you in statistics in your report, you will write in a very formal way with the like null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis, and after that point, you will not only explain this 0.996, you will explain this 0.0002. Okay, you will explain these two part too. Okay, in partial correlation, I wanted to show you that when you will put this control variable, you will not get any kind of changes in this result. You will get the same result as it was earlier. Okay, so for that matter of fact, people generally move to this way. Whatever they have multiple variables, instead of running partial correlation, they run this correlation and get the result. Here we need to explain in a case of negative and in case of insignificant result. Then we need to explain our result in that way. I think I'm clear about this. Now I am moving toward the Spearman-Karl-Pearson test when we use the categorical variable. Should I move? I think, is it clear to everyone? We'll take question answer in the next, at the last point of the presentation. But if should I move, means just I'm moving toward the next one, that is partial, means next type of the correlation when we are dealing with categorical ranking system, ordinal variable. Okay, for that purpose I'm sharing screen. 1 minute. Okay, I'm taking this logistic farmers data. Okay, no, it is not complete actually. Then I'm taking another one. Yes, this data I'm taking one. Okay, this is my ordinal regression, and this is a qualitative because our scale were in a ratio scale and then interval scaling. That's why we applied the Karl-Pearson correlation. Now these data are in a ranking system, you can say ordinal way. Then here we can analyze these variable on a Spearman. Okay, instead of Pearson, we are going to click on Spearman. Okay, one-tailed or two-tailed, test of significance, flagged significant correlation. It's your option. Generally we use to flag that so that we can in our output that should be mentioned. Suppose I want to know the relationship between the performance. So, okay, let me explain the background of the data. This is the data from the student of a university. It is first variable is education. It means education. It means from which stream they are. Commerce stream, science stream, commerce or environmental stream. There are lots of stream. Performance are judged on the 5 scale. Likert scaling: good, very poor, average, very good, excellent. And age, not, it is not age. I think there is a little bit mistake. But yes, university infrastructure, poor, and everything. Age was not reported because they were all. And if I wanted to include this to explain you what you will include this age factor. Okay, 1 minute, just let me include one in, and here age variable view. Here let me insert age, and this was something else. Age 1. Okay, if I am taking because I'm taking the example of the university level graduation, they are more or less in the between 2021. And if I will, this is the categorical variable, if I will mention age, like age between 20 to 22, most of the students are lying in between that, then my result will be showing p-value higher than, because there is no so much variation. Then why I am taking this variable. Variable means changing with the time. Okay, changing with observation and observation. If it is getting constant, like always lying in a one span, then there is a no sense of selecting that variable. So this is also one reason when you get your result insignificant. So you can mention this reason. In case your p-value is not up to like 0.05, less than 0.05, or that your relation is there, but actually your relation is not significant, that can be the reason. Okay, so it was the one thing. And then performance, and I think I wanted to know the relationship between the university infrastructure and performance. Then I took this example Spearman, and then okay, I'm taking the I'm just sharing this. Yes, this is the non-parametric correlation. Okay, when we have ordinal or categorical variable. Okay, See, dependency we can check with the chi-square test, but when we are taking out the association on the in a categorical variable, then we can apply the correlation between the non-parametric correlation. Okay, and here again, performance, student performance with the university infrastructure have significant negative, but very low, though very low, very low relationship. Okay, so we can say, and as this, they are n is equal to 197, and the result is significant 0.001, and with the comparison of 0.01, it is very less, and yes, it is negative, but very low, means it is not, you cannot say, means if you will improve in university infrastructure, building their gate, yeah, their parking facility, it won't affect the student performance, even though it will reduce, but with a very less impact, it will reduce the performance of the student. So it was another category of correlation. I think I'm clear about this, the how to express the correlation. So far, in a summarization form, I'm going to explain this correlation. Correlation is the association between the two variable, and I have told you generally 3 to 4 type of correlation. In first one, I just told you bivariate correlation, where we are supposed to only insert only two variable. Okay, and then after that, partial correlation, where we need to insert one control variable. Okay, with respect to that, you are getting the changes in the other variable. But in a non-parametric, again, if as we can see, we experimented this and we found that there is no difference between the output of those two methods, like a bivariate and partial. Then generally we can insert as more variable we want in the bivariate correlation, we will get the result. In that result, we found the one case where we found p-value more than 0.01, and we need to explain that what could be the reason behind that. And we found, I explained 2 or 3 reasons, and one more very important reason. Many times we have very less variation in the variable, which is not in that way. Variable are not getting justified. Variable, it means they are varying with the time, and if they are very less changes, then there is no sense to make the consider that variable as a variable. Instead of that, you can take it as a constant or control things, anything. Okay, after that, I explained you non-parametric correlation, that is a Spearman correlation. When we have ordinal data kind of things, then we go for the non-parametric correlation, Spearman correlation. In that, we just kept we transfer our variables into the output functions, and then we got this relationship. Next is regression. What is regression? Okay, so far we studied the correlation. I'm just okay. Next is regression. It is very important. Everyone, it means, I think each one of you have experienced the requirement of regression in your study, whether you are conducting a small level of the study or a huge level of study. It is getting transformed in a very moderate, updated advanced version, but still it is having its own basic importance. So here we will study types of regression, 3 types of regression analysis. One is linear regression between two variables. Second, multiple linear regression analysis. Third, logistic regression. Okay, of other regression analysis like non-linear logit model, probit model, when we have categorical variable, then we have lots of regression model. But here in your syllabus, that is linear regression model and logistic regression model, because in a qualitative study we are going to apply logistic model, logistic regression, but the interpretation is different. So I'm going to start with that. I'm taking the example of this logistic regression, and from there I will import data. I'll take the data. So I will go for the open data, and from open data I will take a regression multiple 1 minute what it is. Okay, this is the regression, and it was a file for the multiple regression, but I am telling you bivariate regression, okay, or retail price. I'm just stopping this and I'm taking another data set. Yes, okay. Here we don't have the variable name, but I can say the variables are price. These are the volume sale, volume, sales volume, and this was the supply of the fuel, and this was the price, and this is the competitor price in the area. Okay, this is my data. I think everybody can see this. Then we can have the database. So first of all, if I want to know, the price impact on sales volume, just I want to know the price impact. Here we can have lots of testing. Okay, first I'm going for the linear regression model. Is there recording, guys? Anybody, just someone is asking about, is there recording, guys? Yes, there will be, and you will be provided with the recording link. There's a YouTube channel, you can go there. So I was talking about the linear regression model bivariate. Here I want to know, my assumption is here in regression also, means there are lots of questions about this. People are asking, like, is only inferential or parametric tests are they are only hypotheses are meant to be associated with those tested only, or regression, in regression also we can have the hypothesis. Yes, in regression also you have to create one hypothesis. Okay, in regression how you will be to formulating hypothesis in terms of there is association, not association, like that. But here what you will do, you will create one hypothesis. There is significant impact, means nowadays people are using influence word or effect, like you can use anything, but statistically we consider the impact word. Okay, significantly impact of price on sales volume of the fuel. I want to know this. Okay, my assumption, I'm again telling you, my H naught is there is significant impact of price on sales volume of the fuel. So this is the unit per unit price, and this is the data for their sales. So I'm going to analyze. So first of all, there are two kind of two. Okay, I'll tell you log linear. In that you can go for the logit model, but here regression you can do, and this is the linear. Here you have lots of model: ordinal, probit, non-linear. I was telling you there are lots of two stages model. I told you in the previous of this session content, that there are lots of regression. Generally we are only acquainted with the linear model because mostly this is simple, and people are like telling, okay, impact to analyze karna, that only we have to analyze the impact, so we go for the linear model. But on the basis of that's why we get the insignificant model. Now on the basis of output, I will let you know what can be the consequences if you are not applying right model. Okay, this is the dependent. After clicking on that, you will get this two kind of box. Here is a dependent and here is the independent. What was our assumption? What was our assumption? Our assumption was like price is influencing the sales volume. Statistics, you can confidence level, you can say 95%. You can Durbin-Watson test, it's for the autocorrelation. If data is time series, then you can click here, otherwise not needed. R squared descriptive, yes, you can know collinearity if you want to. Model fit, I will let you know what is model fit. Okay, then collinearity diagnosis, here you will get correlation between these two if you want to pick. Otherwise, you have generally in your model, in your report, you separately show your result for correlation apart from this. Okay, then continue. In plot also you can get the residual, and it is basically when you have to check the heteroscedasticity in the model, but you don't have to do that, or histogram or normal probability plot. What here you are not going to check that in case of that, and you can apply this only if you are very much confident in your in expression, in explanation, because when you will put this output in your presentation for your thesis defending, then if you are not clear, then don't do it, because examiner will definitely will ask what is about this. Okay, so just if you are very much clear, then you can use that output, otherwise just ignore. I did it, and then after that, okay. And okay, you have this kind of output. Okay, first, descriptive statistics for your variables. You will get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 table. I'm going to explain one by one. The first one, this is the descriptive statistics, and it is telling about the description like central tendency and their dispersion. How dispersion is basically telling you about how data is, the variation level in the data set. Okay, so it is kind of 244 sales volume, or 2414 2000 in a one day. That petrol can be sold out like near about worth of 2,414 rupees, and with at the per unit price of 3.5. Okay, it is a crude oil like kacha tel, like that. And after that, here it is a correlation between these two variable. Okay, then correlation is Pearson correlation, sales and price. Here it is not like it is price point minus 163, but here we are not giving. Okay, sales and price, sorry, yeah, this is the significance 0.001. Okay, the next one in Pearson, sales and price is related to negatively. If price will be high, then there will be less sale, like that, and it is significant relationship. Okay, and this variable is kind of it was enter method was used to process this variable. Okay, this is the SPSS model. This is important. This 3 table is very important to explain your variable and analysis part. First, R and R square and adjusted R square. These 3 things are completely different. R is telling the relationship, association between these 2 variables, whereas R square is telling the goodness of fit. Goodness of fit, it means whatever our model is actually estimated, how much it is fit in actual means. Okay, I'm repeating this. R square is telling number percentage of variation due to the included variable. It is depicting whatever variable you have included your model, whether it is okay or not. In this 0.026, it means only 2.6% of variation in the model you can predict on the basis of the variable you included. It means you need to add more variable. Your model is not good. It should be more than 0.75. Thing is, Again, I'm telling you, this table is depicting the inclusion of the variable, whether your variables are sufficient or not. Number of variable, explanatory variable, exogenous variables are sufficient to explain your model or not. It means not, completely not. Here in adjusted R square, this is important. This adjusted R square will make the difference between bivariate and multivariate. In bivariate analysis, we consider R square and adjusted R square same, more or less same. We consider in bivariate regression analysis R square. But in multiple regression analysis, we consider to explain our model fit on the basis of R square, adjusted R square value. Here again, and always adjusted R square value is less than R square value. And again here, the value of adjusted R square is very less. Okay, then we can say the model based on the variable what we have included is not sufficient. Okay, that's why this model is not sufficient. Next, ANOVA. It shows the relationship between your model. Okay, it means the variation. It also shows the variation, but your model is fit or not in the sense of the relationship. It means whatever you were assuming actually that actually exists or not. It is 0.002. Yes, model is significant. It means whatever you assume, linear relationship. Yes, it is linear relationship. If it is not, F value is not less than 0.05, then it means you should take a log linear model. You should take a first difference. There is a problem in that model, maybe heterocadasticity or autocorrelation. I think you guys are aware about this heterocadasticity or not? Yes or no? Otherwise, I will then explain you. Heterocadasticity, autocorrelation, multiple collinearity. These are the assumptions for your linear regression model. Before applying this model, you must check the heterocadasticity, autoregression, autocorrelation, or heterocadasticity, or everything. So if this is the significant, it means your model is free from any other error. Okay. Next one is this. Okay. This part. This is the coefficient influence, like on the basis of that you will accept or reject your hypothesis. Say price is having minus 131. There are two kind of standardized coefficient, like standard error, unstandardized coefficient, standardized coefficient. You, while expressing your result, you consider this standardized coefficient beta value, that is minus 0.163. Will include that, and this is the significant impact. Again, what you will write, this impact is your R square is less, it means you need to include more variable, but your relationship is valid. You cannot negate this relationship on the basis of this p value. So this is the difference why these three things are important. This will explain you whether your variable inclusion is okay or not. This will explain you whether your model fitting is okay or not. Whatever you are assuming, what relationship you are assuming, whether it is good, okay or not. This table will explain you whether your significant or not. So these three variables, while expressing your result in your report, you have to discuss these three tables for claiming your result, that you are right, whatever you are claiming your hypothesis. Okay, so here you can say price will have a negative. If there will be 1 unit change in price, then sales volume will decline by 16.3%. This is a marginal rate of change of the sales volume with respect to the price, and this is significant completely. Therefore you will reject the null hypothesis that there is no significant impact of price on sales volume, but against that you will accept the alternative hypothesis that there is significant impact on sales volume of price, that is in negative form. I think I'm clear about this. This was the only bivariate analysis. Okay, next I am talking about the multivariate. Okay, and in this result, in this one, okay, Next one is, I think it is visible, I think ROA, current ratio. This is the multiple regression model I'm going to tell you next. I think it is visible. My screen is visible. This multiple regression model, ROA. Okay. So here, now we are moving toward the multiple regression model. Okay, here I will discuss the impact of inclusion of the variable on R value. R is very important. R is square basically. Okay, so here we will consider our operating margin is completely a matter of ROA, current ratio, and leverage. Okay, operating margin is dependent variable. And then we will discuss about this, how to do this. This is a multiple regression model. Okay, analyze regression linear. For making you understand that the importance of R, I will just only take two variables. This is the operating margin and current ratio, and then we will go for the statistics and model R square change descriptive and collinear diagnosis in case of that. And Durbin-Watson test is for the autocorrelation, and in case of time series data, you can run that test. Otherwise, there is not so much required, so you can leave it. Then continue. Then okay. I'm going to, instead of this, I'm going to share the output window so that you can see the output. Again, there are 204 values, 204 values. This is the descriptive statistics on operating margin is 171912 and current ratio is 195.9755 and with the standard deviation of this. And there's one more thing. People means like why I am telling you, because I caught one or two students who manipulated this values, but they didn't change these values. Okay, so that's why if a person examiner external is, it was not my thesis, but yes, it was my senior thesis and I got that. If the value, this standard deviation is the value of standard, the rule of thumb is how to we get this p value from here. Is the smart work. If you are going to change that value, then you have to pay these values too. This half, the value of half standard variable or 1/6 generally we do, that should be less than the 1/6 mean value should be less than this standard deviation. Then it is significant. Otherwise, it is insignificant. If you will change these values and you will not change these values, then that person can get that okay, this is means manipulated. And if you will do your data at your home, like fill your data at your home, then you will get p value higher. That will be, they will produce the insignificant result because there will be the autocorrelation data, autocorrelation and heteroscedasticity problem. So that's why we use that. Okay, next one we are doing that, this value that sorry, the next one I was talking about the this one, operating margin and current ratio. This is the it's descriptive statistics and significant. This is the correlation value 0.314. This 30 we can report in that, and they are significant 0.0001% or 5%. We both can reject our null hypothesis that there is a relationship between these two variable, and method is entered here. R square is 0.09. Okay, again only 9% of the variation in the model can be explained. Rest 91% of the variation in the model is not explained. What does it mean? Whatever change means 91%. If there will be any problem in model, 91% chances that the model cannot explain that error. So it's better we should include a more variable. Here model is linear, it is okay. Significant values we are getting here. Again, it is the multicollinearity test. and this is the collinearity diagonal, and here 3.14. They are current ratio is impacting 0.314, 31% for marginal rate. If it means I will change current ratio 1 unit, then there will be 31.4% change in the operating margin of the company. But next, what I wanted to do, I wanted to increase variables number. Then I want to check its impact on R square value. Here independent variable operating margin, but the rest of the variable should be in the free variable. Just I want to know whether R square here 0.099% from 9% it got increased 0.25, and here we will discuss the 243%. What does it mean? As you will increase number of variable, your R square will be improved. Okay, so you can say this model need more explanatory variable to get the significant result. Again, your linear regression assumption is okay. It is not having any kind of other problem. It is having a good, genuine unbiased model. And then this is the multiple regression model output. It means current ratio is having 26% marginal influence on the operating margin. Leverage is having 28.3% marginal impact on the operating margin. Return on asset is a 34.1%. Okay, and all are significant. See, if I want to do the principal component analysis, like I want to do it on the just I want to prioritize our variable, then on the basis of this p value and this value, we will decide its importance. It means ROA is the most prominent, means this is the prominent factor which can influence the operating margin of the company. Then second number is leverage. It is also significantly influence the operating margin of the company. And then another one is the current ratio. 26.0% is the chances that if you will change current ratio, then it will influence the operating margin of the company. This was the kind of coefficient. It means that is the multiple linear regression model. Okay. This was about that. Next one, in case of non-linear, then there is a log linear model. Okay. There is a log linear model. What is the time that I should? 6:30. I have one more topic, that is a logistic. But I should explain you sometime. Means suppose, and another data I'm going to open. I have lots of data. Open data. I have this. Okay. And I want to check the impact of sales or on impact of sales price and competition or competitive price. Suppose my sales volume is getting impacted by competitive prices also. Competitive price also. If they will increase or decrease, or their prices will will be changed in my sales volume. And this kind of relationship is not non-linear and they are log linear. Okay. So if I want to do that, then what I can do, I can do the transform data. And this is the another log linear. This method is known as the log linear model. Otherwise, there is another method, but it is that log linear method is for the general. In general, you can say this. It needs lots of modification. Okay, that it also consider your Poisson distribution multinomial, but in a simple way we can do here compute variable, and this just go to the all function and go to the log function, log 10 or ln, And here I'm taking the and target LG sale. Okay. Here you can see, I think you can see this screen. LG sale has we have created a new variable here. In the same way, we will do price and competitive price. Transform compute variable sales. We are going to log price PR. Then okay. We will have one more variable log price. And next variable, this situation, it can be adopted by when you have ANOVA is not significant. Then you can go, or there is autocorrelation, you have Durbin-Watson value. Okay, then in that case, you can go for the transformation of your model. That is a log model, okay, log linear model. And in this, sorry, compute competitive price means competitive price can also impact your pricing strategy, sales volume. Suppose I just reduce my prices, then I'll get, okay, now I have this log values. And further, we will proceed with the simple linear regression model. And instead of these two, we will work on these variable. See, I will check what are the impact on R square. Here R square is getting less, and significant is because I just took data. Data is not in that way because already it was okay, but I just transform this. But it is applied when this p value is high, this ANOVA table is high, then you can go for that log regression in your model. So far in linear regression model, we studied bivariate regression model, multivariate regression model, log linear regression model. In that, we studied about the R square importance, adjusted R square. And yes, in multiple regression model, you have to check the adjusted R square model instead of R square. R square will be observed in only case of the bivariate, but the adjusted R square will be observed in the what should I say, in a multiple regression model. And this will suggest you the nature of your, like your model is significant or not. This will suggest about the coefficient, your coefficient are significant or not. Okay, so this was about the regression, linear regression model. And the last one is for the logistic regression model. The logistic regression model, I think I have this clear. I have to clear this part. Okay, and on the base, this is not performance, this is the teacher counseling. This variable was the teacher counseling, I remember. This is the teacher because I just removed the age variable, that's why teacher counseling. First of all, I'm going to little bit just explaining you the concept of this case. Yes, I will differentiate in every model in last. I will address your query, not to worry in last. Just let me finish. This is the last part of the session. After this, I'll differentiate in each and every model. Okay, not to worry. Okay, let me start with this logistic regression model. Why we use this? Okay, generally, I have observed people use this regression, linear regression model in case of they have, because psychology thing and there are lots of things we always apply linear regression model, though they have different assumption. They have assumptions of the scale of the variable. Scale must be in ratio or interval scaling, quantitative variable. But in case we have this scaling, so we cannot apply the linear regression model. Instead of that, we will go for the logistic model. Okay. So in logistic model, what we do? Okay. The nature of the variable, first of all, education, I told you this is a completely a categorical variable. Economics student, commerce student, environment student, and science student. I've taken data for the from the 4 section of the university. Okay. Next, I'm assuming the student performance is scaled, measured on the scaling, that is poor, average. This is a symmetric differential scaling. It is not known as the Likert scaling. Likert scaling is when we are using strongly agree, disagree, that is. But it is a symmetric differential scaling. That is a poor, average, good, very good, excellent. I'm assuming teacher counseling and university infrastructure, a library facility, and e-study material. Okay, they have a positive influence on performance. They are in this also. Ordinal regression also, you can use bivariate and multivariate. Okay, in the same way. Here, what can be the possibility of your analysis? First, you can check this performance, ANOVA you can apply. Okay, you can analyze the impact of section. Suppose I'm assuming that science background student is having a good performance, so I will go for the analyze. In this case I'm not going to run regression or logistic model, because this is the nominal variable. I cannot say like economics is good or science is good. We cannot claim like science is better than economics or commerce is better than economics, or economics is better than commerce, like commerce so bekar hai. We cannot say. Each and every subject have their means has their own importance, so we cannot claim which one is better. That's why it is known as a nominal. You can see on inside of measure column I mentioned nominal scaling. Okay, so here we cannot, because this is the performance and this is the education, we cannot run regression. In this case, logistic regression, for the logistic regression assumptions are the scale must be in the ordinal form. Ordinal, it means like this, ordered. Universally, this is true. Poor should be poor for everyone. So should be evaluated lower than average. And for another person, he will also say poor is less, means it is not good. It is average is better than poor is category. Okay, so this is ordinal scaling, and it is a education is the nominal scaling here. So in this, between these two, analyzing the impact of education on performance, we will run the ANOVA, like performance and education will be in a factor, and then we will test. Okay, stop, and then I will go to output and share. I will have this significant level of 0.332. My assumption is not, I am accepting my null hypothesis that there is no impact of education on the performance. Of course, no difference. There is no difference in terms of education for their performance. I cannot say, means if he is or science background, he will have a better performance, or he is from like this. This is my conclusion. This is a one way. This is also a way when you check the impact of that group. But that this is the thing, that your variable should be in a factor form. Factor, it means that should be in a qualitative nominal category. Okay, so next, when I am done with this, I'm going to just stop sharing this. Okay, I'm going to Logistic, where it is, my data is logistic regression. Analyze that regression, then logistic, ordinal. See, because my scale is ordinal regressions. Here again, dependent variable is performance. The next factor are technology and kind of thing. Each study can be the covariate if you want. This is also like, if that is a nominal variable like education, you can put in that. Okay. Sorry, in factor we will put the education, and in covariate we will put this. Teacher counseling, education. This is the multiple regression in ordinal scaling. Option, maximum, whatever, logit model or whatever. Okay. Here is the result. And result is little bit different. And now I'm going to explain one by one. Ordinal regression from here. Case processing, this is the description. N kitna hai, that is marginal percentage. How many people are from a poor performance? 88, and they are 44% of the total, 44. And unlike that, the log linear, simple linear regression model, here you will get in this one, proportion, because it is the ordinal way. Performance and education, like, because performance, it was my that factor, like a dependent one. The poor person, performance people are like 88%, average 40%, and this is the good, that 35%, and valid are 196, missing values are 1, and total over 198. This is the log like model fitting information. Model is fit. If it is p value is 0.00, it means we have fit model chi-square. We are accepting that our model is fit. Okay, this is another goodness of fit Pearson model. That is, our model is fit. This p value will indicate this. If these two values, this where I'm just indicating the arrow, if these two values are more than 0.05, it means you have to think about your model. Your model and your variable selection is sorry, your model fitting is not okay. Means whatever you were assuming, that was not as per the actual data. Okay, next is pseudo R square. Unlike, means in that we were talking about R square. Here pseudo R square, and then we have to consider, means what should be the output. These three values should be more than 0.7 or 0.6. Here we have 0.69, 0.78, 0.58. We can consider, but it should be more than 0.6. It means your variable, like number of variable in explanatory form, are sufficient or not, adequate or not. So next will be this, the parameter estimator. How to explain this? This is the constant one. Performance 1, performance 2. Okay, this is the university infrastructure, how they are impacting that. This is the library infrastructure minus 397, whether they are significant or not. Not significant. This result is not significant in university infrastructure. Maybe there can be like a kind of leniency in the response, and you have to explain that while collecting data, what you faced, or your variable are actually varying with the responses or not, or something like that. Whereas in library function, library facilities have negative impact, 26.6% having a marginal rate, with significant impact 0.033. It means if we will compare this with, if we will compare with like 0.05, we will get that they have insignificant, they have significant impact. we have highest positive. As much as we will buy our e-material, then we can improve significantly 0.005, significantly improve the their performance. Teaching counseling, of course, teacher counseling is having a most important role in there significantly. Only one factor was insignificant, that was university infrastructure. Maybe that is constant for everyone, so we should not include that. Okay, this is the skewed data or something like only one. Poor infrastructure, poor infrastructure, poor infrastructure. There is very less. So university infrastructure, you can drop this variable while the assessment. Next, this is the important. Education 1, 2, 3. Unlike these variable, this is having the education factor is having 4 characteristics. Like one, at one coding. If I'm talking about one coding, what was our code for student? One for economics. See, ordinal recreation is having different interpretation. Okay, that's why I'm telling you this. Economics. 2 is a commerce. 3 is environment. 4 is science. Okay, now I'm going to tell you about the interpretation, how to interpret that result. Okay. Where is the output window? Yes, this is the output. I think it is visible here. Science, economics students is having negative impact, means the education is getting negative impact on their performance. Whereas second, at the second number, commerce student is having positive. If they are, means if we will increase the commerce stream, then the students aggregate performance in the student. Like if I will teach them more commerce content, then we can improve their performance 34% and insignificant. These all are insignificant. Okay, except last one, fourth, science. Okay, and then third, in this environment section, if we will expand the environment section content, then we will find negative improvement in the performance, negative content in the performance. It means they will go down. It means if they are earlier it was average, and I will increase the environment expansion, I will increase the environment course, then I will found aggregate decline in the performance. Okay, so I can conclude, if I will expand commerce intake in our university, then I can have aggregate improvement in the student performance. Okay, but this is also not significant. This is you can drop the third one. Environmental science students are not responding good way, but these two are also they are also insignificant, but comparatively the third one, they are less significant. This is the power of hypothesis, what we can say. Yesterday what I wanted to explain you, with the help of these you can prioritize your variable. So this was all about the logistic regression model. Okay, now as we are going toward the timing, we have 10 minutes for your query. It's 6:52. Then just it was all about from my side, correlation, regression, logistic regression. In that, just I'm going to summarize a little bit. In correlation, I told you about 3 to 4 type of correlation: bivariate, partial, bivariate. In bivariate, we experimented multiple correlation, and then Spearman correlation for the categorical variable. Next was the regression model. In regression model, linear regression model and multiple regression model. In that we discuss R square and adjusted R square difference between these two, and then log linear regression model, and then logistic regression model. Then now I'm proceeding for the, this was all about from for this today's session. Anything, any doubt